Hello there everyone, ladies and gentlemen, we are back in business. Now, if you're watching this video in particular, well, you're in what is a pretty exclusive club right at the moment. It'll all make sense when the time comes, but let it be known, guys, that since this is the first actual video I've actually recorded for YouTube in just under 4 months. So, for the love of God, I hope I know what I'm doing. And that's going to be kind of necessary because we are returning to talk about Chris Chan for like I said, for like the first time in 4 months. I'll just give you guys one quick second. I need a zesty drink. This has literally been like the first night I've had in a very long time where I felt like I've got plenty of time to kill, so I thought, let's reopen the floodgates, shall we? Cheers. So, again, for the benefit of letting you guys know exactly what's been happening, well, first off, the chair, which means that viewing Chris's shenanigans, his antics, his BS, to be honest, it's going to be in a little bit more comfort than previously seen. Also, I've been in work for very nearly 4 months at this job. This has been actually the longest job I've actually ever had in my life because I've done like about 2 little jobs straight out of university, and if all goes well this coming Tuesday, because it's currently Thursday, I could possibly be having the opportunity to go one step further to like getting life back in the fast lane. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying that because if there's one person I needed to go to remind myself that things could be a lot worse if I decided to do everything in my power to make myself look like the biggest idiot of all time, then look no further than to Mr. Christian Weston Chandler. Now, with all that being said and done, I think it's just about time we get started. This is going to be a long video as it is, and it's been a long day, and I'm getting tired, and I have this terrible pain in my neck. I've had it literally all day long, so with all that being said and done, for the first time in 17 weeks, let's get ready. So, part 40 in 3, 2, 1. Even I feel old saying that. It feels good, guys. It feels good to be back. Disclaimer, don't be like Chris Chan. That's what this should say.
What made him this way? What is the attraction? What keeps us fascinated? This is the story of Chris Chan.
I like the fact he had like a little Pinkie Pie, a little doll in the background. I saw that.
On May 15th, 2014, Christian posted on Facebook requesting that if any generous donators happen to be interested in sending him gifts, they should send him cash or gift cards. His post was accompanied by 19 logos of companies for which he would like the gift cards to be applied.
So much for, his claim for like living healthy, because Burger King, McDonald's, fucking Toys R Us is the place you take kids like kids under 10 years old. That's the place you go. GameStop, IHOPs. He was talking about, is that Arby's? I think I saw like Wendy's earlier. But yeah, I think Chris gave up the pretension for living healthy a very long time ago.
Soon after posted a wish list consisting of desired Lego building sets. This was soon followed by an album of Lego minifigurines that he needed/wanted. Members of the Quickie forums researched the listed items and estimated that Chris's entire wish list would cost between $3,000 and $5,000. In the comments for his post,
3-5, guys, I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of a hint right now, ladies and gentlemen. $3,000 to $5,000. Let's say for the sake of argument, that was in British pounds, let's say that was £5,000. The salary I'm on right now is something around about between 1,600 to 1,600. It's £1,600, and then of course taxes and all that, so it'll be about like 1,450 or something like that. I would have to literally save up for like nearly 4 months without buying anything, not even on the bills I have to actually pay and the rent for the place I live. And I still wouldn't even come close. Just, wow. You don't really begin to notice these things, like the real value of money, when you're actually in work and you've actually got shit to pay for the real world. It's fascinating, and listening to this lummox right here, you realize this more and more when you get older. Maybe that's Chris's plateau. There's that he never grew older because he never grew up.
Hosts, his Facebook friends, Kim Wilson and William Elliott Waterman, questioned his reasoning for wanting and needing these expensive Lego sets. Christian stated that the gifts would be for future reference and events. Kim asked what these events were, since Christmas was not for another 8 months, and his birthday was even longer after that. After reading the lengthy comment thread, Chris clarified that he planned to refer to the wish list when special days like Christmas were coming up, and would choose an item to get as a present. He added that he still needed replacement sets to replace the one
desperately need. Guys, I think it's time for our very favorite game I love to play, is that taking things out of context. You know, if you don't know how to play this game, ladies and gentlemen, then I'm gonna literally do it for you. Desperately need, yeah, in the same way that people in Africa desperately need, clean water, or sanitary arrangements, or actual good food. Meanwhile, in Western civilization, with COVID-19, is still, there's been in the UK nearly 1,200 deaths in just 2 days. I think they would like a vaccine like a little bit more than ever. Those are the sort of things we desperately need. No man, woman in their right mind desperately needs Legos. I mean, does this look like... Just ignore that, that's my phone. Does that really look like the sort of person who desperately needs toys when he was... How old was he when he was 32 years old at this time? What does a 32-year-old really need with Legos anyway? Unless he was making the Lego movie, then I hardly see what the point of all this is. Yeah, actually, that would like bring me on to like a really interesting spiel about Chris regarding the coronavirus, but that's for another day. And I think I like spent how long? Nearly 10 minutes in talking so far, and we haven't even gone past the 2-minute mark on a 47-minute video. I'm just gonna keep quiet for a little bit.
Ones that were damaged by his house fire. At around that time, Chris asked his online gal pal, played by Kim Wilson, to search for and message women on his behalf on the online dating website OkCupid. On May 24th, he complained to her messaging a woman whose profile was only a 71% match with his own. He also deemed her to be quite overweight and unappealing. The gal pal emailed him back, "Chris, you shouldn't turn people down because of appearance."
It was hacked off for 71%. Alright, okay, and now I'm beginning to see why, oh god. Alright, okay, yes. I completely forget. Guys, beg pardon, guys. If you're relatively new to the whole Chris Chan thing, some things you would never believe any person would say would just come up like that. This is the kind of shit we're talking about, and oh my god, it would be slightly more funny if you didn't also realize that he was being completely sincere about this. There is not a hint of irony about Chris when it comes to demands or desperately needing something, let's put it.
When you're not a skinny mini yourself, keep your mind open and a lot more doors will open for you. Chris, you're afraid of people from the internet. It's only fair that a woman would be wary as well. It doesn't mean she's a troll or anything. A woman doesn't owe you anything, so don't expect that they have to meet you on your terms. Keep that in mind, and you'll be mute successful. : Chris wrote back, criticizing her for softly calling him fat, and recited a spontaneously envisaged story inspired by a Lego set about a couple with weight problems. She replied, pointing out that he was the one who was making fun of people wider than himself, and reconsidered her efforts in helping him on OkCupid, since she felt that he was better at getting women than she was. Christian disagreed, and asked for her continued help. Also on the 24th, Chris updated his Facebook profile cover photo.
Yeah, I highly disagree with you. Please do not leave me. That's... You'll find out that Chris will criticize others and then immediately turn the other cheek and plead for them to stay, because it's crazy. It really is.
A picture of his Sonichu characters, made out of a mix of Lego figurines and modeling clay. To many observers' surprise, the family included Simone LaRoche-Chu, the character that he was forced into killing off in his comics because it was largely lifted from Evan Christopher George's Simone-Chu. He followed up with an album of photos featuring Simone in a range of positions, including one in which she is copulating with her romantic partner, Wild Sonichu. Kim left a comment, accusing him of being dishonest because he had made a promise that Simone would remain dead. Chris wrote that he had revived her and that her death was troll-influenced, so he aimed to eventually redraw her death pages to show that she was not dead. Kim criticized him for breaking his promise, to which Chris replied, "Everyone, sing along. I don't care. I don't care. Oh look, a free hat. I don't care. You can put on clean bra and underwear, 'cause I don't care. I will do what I want, when I want, and no troll is going to rewrite my history."
Don't worry, Chris. No troll is going to rewrite my history. Don't worry, Chris. I don't think they need to. I really do not think they need to at this point.
Simone LaRoche-Chu lives on as a model construction working mother of Sandy with her husband, Wild Sonichu. P.S. The Voltorb was properly diffused and released back into the wilds of Kanto's abandoned electric plant. The damn trolls were still put under arrest. No bloody punishment was ensued upon the guilty. I personally beat the living crap out of them and Daniel Mims, then let them live out their lifelong prison sentence in the offshore prison stronger than Alcatraz. So there. Chris deleted some of William's more critical comments, while Kim highlighted that if he wanted to remove trollsome influences from his story, then Sandy, Simone's offspring, could not exist either.
Alright, okay.
During the second half of May, under the username Jesus Guides Me Too, Chris listed a handful of items originally belonging to his father on the online auction site eBay. These included several vintage model plane construction sets and a copy of a 1721 Antonio Stradivarius violin. The model planes were listed as new and in mint condition, even though the boxes showed visible water damage. A Quickie Forums member, masquerading as a Sonichu fan, queried Chris on eBay, stating that he would buy a model kit if he drew another comic issue of Sonichu. Chris left an angry response. "I gave up my PS3 to the damn trolls for $900 by destroying it, and nobody paid me ever. What the hell makes you believe I would volunteer any creation of mine for anyone online just so they could pervert it, and make more humiliation and incriminate upon myself and my family of characters, where I would obviously receive no financial funding whatsoever? Tell that to everyone in your circle." Regarding the violin, Chris received some questions on eBay, most likely from persons simply interested in buying the instrument. They stated that the violin looked a little beaten up and that the bow needed restringing. If a buyer chose the more expensive buy it now price of $300, Chris and his mother would get the bow restrung before shipping. On May 28th, Chris begged on Facebook for someone to buy the Stradivarius violin copy because he and his mother needed the money. Soon after, he posted 2 photos of 2 Lego sets that were sent to him as a present. He thanked the sender and then once again listed the Lego sets that he needed the most. William Waterman left a comment. "Chris, this is greedy. You're trying to sell your father's violin, which we don't know if you wanted the family to keep it, because you desperately need the money. And at the same time, you are begging for replacements of your..."
Sorry about that. No, Elliot is wrong here. Is that Chris does not need the money. Need the money for Legos. He needs them to shove Legos up his ass. That's what he's secretly doing, because begging for... Who in their right mind at that age, whatever age, would be begging for Legos? You don't even see children really begging for Legos that much, do you? I wouldn't know. I wasn't particularly very big on Legos when I was a kid, but this is just... If you delete my comment, I saved it back up. Yeah, Elliot is beginning to learn this pattern. Good for him.
Lego sets that melted on public posts. Do you not see what's wrong with this? People will think you're just selling one of your late father's possessions to buy Legos. If you delete my comment, I saved the backup. Chris did not address his comments. The following day, he posted a photo of a Lego Friends construction set and commented, "I really want this! Multiples of these!" At around the same time, a Quickie Forums member contacted him inquiring about one of the model airplanes he was interested in buying. He managed to convince him to sell it for $17.99, as stated on the box, rather than for Chris's original asking price of $50. On June 1st, Christian listed a new drawing of Sonichu and Rosechu up for sale on eBay. Starting bid was set at $20, and there was an option to buy it now for $100. He offered a grayscale copy of the picture as an anti-forgery measure. He also notified his Facebook
Anti-forgery on art like this. That's something that wouldn't even pass in a third grade art class. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
friends about it and clarified Roaster's gender. In case you were paying attention, the Raichu tail is female, just as the Rosechu that transformed from the original female Raichu has always been and will always be. Vagina, ovaries, C-cup milking breasts with tits and all. Trolls and onlookers soon.
I am going to play that again. In fact, you know what? I've always wanted to do this. I've always wanted to do this. I love it whenever Gino has to shout because he that's the way Chris writes. So for the very first time, I'm gonna do it myself. And in case you were paying attention, the Raichu tail is female, just as the Rosechu that transformed the original female Raichu has always been and always will be. Virginia, ovaries, C-cup milking breasts with tits and all. Somehow that didn't sound quite as good as I thought it would.
Milking breasts with tits and all. Trolls and onlookers soon focused in on this auction, which was shared in a thread on the website 4chan.
Oh my god.
During the first day, many bid on the item, continuously increasing the latest price of the drawing, for which
You could say the people on 4chan really snuffed out Chris's antics on eBay. Huh? I live on my own.
they had no means nor intention of paying. Chris then added an extended disclaimer to the description, stating that no alterations could be made to the drawing, and that it would be mailed to the highest valid bidder in a photo frame. At around 24 hours after he posted the drawing, the highest bid was $13,200. Soon after, the listing was removed. On June 2nd, Chris relisted the artwork, with a starting bid of $100 and an option to buy it now at $500. On Facebook, he wrote that the original listing was removed because his name as a celebrity was in the title. To a person on eBay with a query about the price, Chris wrote that he had to increase the starting bid and buy it now value due to rising interest and hurt from the trolls. He included some additional details, such as a black and white photo of the drawing in its photo frame, a color close-up of Sonichu and Rosechu's groins, and a shot of his signature and date of drawing, which he mistakenly wrote as a date 2 weeks into the future. He acknowledged the mistake and wrote that it could not be changed as the picture had already been laminated. This listing's highest bid soon reached over $15,000 before it was removed again, this time for having links to his Facebook page in the description. On June 3rd, he listed the drawing for the third time, now with the buy it now option of $1,000. He added a photo of himself holding up the framed picture in question. He later made a Facebook post, hinting that he had also been trying to sell the drawing outside of his eBay listing's terms, which he was now restricted from doing. The next day, Christian modified the listing to remove any bidding and offered the drawing only as an immediate purchase with an asking price of $5,000. The item received many offers, though all were rejected by Chris because they were too low or that the bidders had less than 10 points of feedback. After some time, he brought the asking price down to $2,500. He shortly accepted an offer of $1,000 from a buyer who had only received 2 feedback comments in his eBay history. On June 5th, Chris confirmed that the buyer was unwilling to pay $1,000 for the drawing, so he relisted the picture again, setting the buy it now price at $1,000, with no option for bidding. He further stated the importance of selling the drawing on Facebook, the proceeds from which would go to his mother and his mother's debts and living.
Yeah, you can't do that though.
On June 8th, Chris received an email from eBay notifying him that his listing was once again removed due to him advertising the listing on Facebook, which could be seen as a desire to make transactions through private messages and bypassing the necessary fees on eBay. He made it clear on Facebook that he was willing to put the drawing back up on eBay with a non-negotiable price of $1,000. He also claimed that people have instead been giving money to the Quickie and the Quickie forums. Soon after this announcement, he relisted the item, though it was soon removed again. Chris received another email from eBay, telling him that his account had been reviewed and was given a 3-day suspension from posting any new items on the site. He wrote an angry Facebook post, blaming the troll's actions for his recent development.
How is it their fault though? How, Chris? How is it their fault? If you read any of the emails about why your post got taken down, you would have seen clearly where you were in the wrong. But no, it can't be like that. It just can't. It's impossible, guys. It's impossible for Chris to... Well, you get the idea.
And determined that the only way to make up for it was to stop donating to the Quickie and Quickie forums, and demanded that someone donate $1,000 to his personal PayPal account. The next day, he added that he will send the framed drawing to the first person who sends him $1,000 via PayPal. Once he has paid the amount, he expressed that he will price future drawings more reasonably. However, if no one sends him the money within the next 3 days, he will relist the drawing on eBay again, with the same price tag attached. As members of the Quickie forums discussed the likelihood of Chris using the proceeds of the sale for Legos, a person got in touch with Chris privately, who later shared a screenshot of their messages, revealing that he was planning on using 25% of the asking price on Legos, with $500 going for his mother, and the remainder to pay off debts.
$250 for Legos is still quite a lot. I mean, 250 quid in the UK... If I were, that's enough for me to, like, pay for insurance for my mother's car for a whole year. I could do that, guys, for a whole year, or at least pay off at least half the tax for, or half the service for my dad's car. Half of it, yes, granted, but that's enough to do like grocery shopping for at least a whole month. I could probably live on a shopping budget of £250 if by the time I moved out and all that. Just
President Harley said slurp come then come.
What the fuck was that? Right, okay, let's just move on from that.
On June 12th, Christian put the drawing up for sale for the 6th time, with no change to the buy it now amount. The drawing received many offers, though all were declined. Less than 4 hours after it was relisted, the item was taken down from eBay again, and Chris informed his followers and his friends on Facebook. Ugh! Persephone! Fuck me! The listing got removed again! He also showed that the email he received from eBay stated that he was banned for offering a direct PayPal transaction option for the item in his description, which was in violation of their terms of service. This resulted in another 3-day ban from the site. And in the meantime, Chris wrote again that he will send the framed drawing to the first person who sends him $1,000 via PayPal.
So anyway, actually, here's a point. I reckon with just about everything I've got in my room right now, I could probably sell everything I have in my room on eBay for about £3,000. I reckon I could maybe possibly do something like that without getting a post taken down once. I reckon I could be responsible enough to take care of that sort of thing. I reckon I could do that. But mind you, there is an awful lot of stuff here that I do need. I mean, books aside, there's a fair lot of deodorant, cologne, and stuff like that. There's drawing utensils, reference material here and there. There's a lot, but I reckon if push came to shove, I reckon I could flog some of this stuff without, because let's think again about exactly what Chris is trying to sell. It's a piece of paper with the artwork of an 8-year-old who was suffering from muscle atrophy. Somebody who draws basically like that. This is basically a good representation about how Chris actually kind of like draws. Like somebody who stuck their hand into a frozen pond for about 10 minutes.
Once he is paid the amount, he expressed that he will price future drawings more reasonably. However, if no one sends him the money within the next 3 days, he will relist the drawing on eBay again, with the same price tag attached. At around the same time, Chris allegedly received a small Lego set as a present from someone who called themselves Alex and thanked him publicly on Facebook. On June 15th, Chris commemorated Father's Day by posting a birthday card he made for his father Bob on Facebook and wrote that he missed him every day. Also on that day, Quickie Forums user Skyraider91, who had previously leaked photos of the Chandler's house on the forums, began leaking many scans of documents and school homework papers, which were obtained by rummaging through the dumpster next to the house or within the house itself.
Again, why would you just throw that shit away 20 plus years ago is, again, something I will never understand.
The leaks largely consisted of Chris's homework assignments in Manchester High School. The papers showed signs of both water and fire damage. The next day, Chris put up his Sonichu and Roaster drawing on eBay one more time, once again setting the buy it now price at $1,000. 2 days later, after declining several offers that did not meet his expectations, Chris lowered the price of the picture to $500. He went to Facebook to explain why he declined offers. "I only declined the offers for good reasons. Zero feedback are often trolls. If they really can offer more than the asking price or close equal, then they can afford to buy it now. I'm very reasonably paranoid, so there." On June 8th,
I was about to make a comment on Chris not being reasonable, but then again, he finally follows this up with being paranoid. So there. Also, that's not funny either. Just putting it out there. It doesn't sound very professional when you're trying to flog something for $500, in which you're gonna shove a bit of. It's gonna involve buying you a bit more Lego, as opposed to paying off outstanding debts.
18th, Chris wrote a Facebook post about his frequent mental blanks and said that when he often did not respond to online questions, he was not able to because the numerous questions he was getting made him feel like he was being accused of something, which would give him a headache. On the 21st, he changed the main photo of his original drawing listing to a full-color photo of the picture in its frame. On that same day, he relisted his father's Stradivarius filing copy on eBay, stating that the bow had been restrung. It soon disappeared from his account. It returned the next day, accompanied by a Facebook post in which Chris repeated that the bow had been restrung and that the item was not fake. On the 22nd, moments before the Sonichu and Roaster drawings week-long listing concluded, Chris accepted an offer outside of his desired $500 goal. He confirmed this on Facebook, stating that if the buyer did not pay for it, he would relist the item again. Also on June 22nd, Chris learned of the upcoming Sonic the Hedgehog game and accompanying animated TV series, Sonic Boom. He was strongly angered by the redesign of the character Sonic, who was going to have blue-colored arms rather than the traditional tan color. He pleaded for Sonic's arm colors to be changed back, and compared the distress he felt to the many
Other stresses, Chris, the fire was your fault anyway. Don't freaking say that's... Oh god, just... The Sonic Boomgate saga is approaching. That's... Oh, Jesus Christ. No. I forgot. I almost forgot about that.
people who felt that singer Michael Jackson should never have changed his skin color.
The same reason Michael Jackson suffered from vitiligo or something like that. One of those conditions where your skin changes over your lifetime from black. Has there ever been cases of vitiligo where it's a white man becomes black? I don't think technically that is a thing, but maybe it's a different name or something like that. Michael Jackson. Oh God. You know, I was just listening to quite a lot of old Michael Jackson about an hour ago, and it's hard to believe that it's been over 10 years since he passed away. He would have been just a year younger than my dad, and they're talking about this. Oh, and no, actually, no, he's not really talking about Michael Jackson at all. He's talking about arm colors of a fictional character.
At around the same time, Chris joined Rebrick, a social media platform where users could share photos of their LEGO creations and collections. Here, he shared his custom characters and his LEGO Manchester High School. Due to the attention Chris had gotten over the Sonichu and Roastu picture during the month of June, Christian began drawing custom commission-based pictures privately. Some drawings were completed for a price of $200. Toward the end of June, Chris began an online correspondence with an unknown male friend who had commissioned several drawings from him. Chris first informed him that he had asked his gal pal to help him connect with potential girlfriends on OkCupid, but she had since retired her services for him, and now asked his friend to contact local women on his behalf. The man showed great hesitation for his task, asked his friend,
I prefer the average to slender, maybe some small amount of tummy over. You may understand I am asking you to find and contact some woman local to me with at least 50% match. Right, okay, so that we could call BS on that for a start. And acceptable body type. What Chris deems acceptable, I don't fucking know. I would not know. I wouldn't think he would be satisfied no matter what anybody really did for him. So he would be constantly disappointed, which he enjoys more than, being happy. With at least 50%. No black women. Not a racist. I just really do not feel comfortable dating them. I would say that is a touch of racism right there. So, no, Chris. You can't say you're not a racist when you would not be willing to accept the society, even intimately, of somebody who is a different skin, or possibly someone who might have a different shaped skull than yourself. You don't want to know something quite interesting, ladies and gentlemen? I barely used Tinder like a couple of months ago and all that because I thought I've got better things. I took it for granted about 2 months ago that even at my age now of 22, and we'll be turning 23 in a couple of months' time, I took it for granted that I probably would go through the rest of my life. I mean, when am I going to receive my pension? The next 44 years while I'm 66. I took it for granted that I would possibly never have another woman ever again, or probably would have nothing to do with them ever again. Yet all the same, I completely forgot actually that, you know what, talking to women, it's just like talking to men. And I got on with it so much better than I thought I did. And, well, it's one of those things you don't realize until you try, you know what I'm saying? And again, beggars can't be choosers and all that. Chris. And, well, there you go. I just really do not feel comfortable dating them, and I have hung out with a few black women in my time. Yeah, again, that doesn't help his cause either. What he's basically saying is, I did it, I've known them, now I don't want to have anything to do with them ever again. Up yours, all of them. That is what I think he is trying to say. Okay, he's not overtly saying it, but anybody who can see this the way that pretty much anyone else than Chris will. I mean, he says he is tired of being mislabeled and being misunderstood. Well, I think Chris has made himself quite clear, and there you go.
To contact local women on his behalf. The man showed great hesitation for his task, and instead suggested that he could give Chris advice on what to say. He told Chris that the goal at the beginning should not be to get women to meet him as soon as possible to become his girlfriend, but rather he should show genuine interest in their personality. To Chris's surprise, the friend revealed that he was not well versed in acquiring romantic partners, and that he instead only had gal pals. Christian then followed by stating that he felt meeting women in a public place shortly after first contact was far superior than having a solely online-based relationship, recounting the many times he had heartbreaks over fake internet girlfriends. He felt that he had a chance to pair up with Casey, Liquid Chris's girlfriend, before his friend reminded him that Liquid and Casey were both trolls and that they never truly cared for him. After several more messages, Chris advised his friend to peruse the online marketplace website Craigslist to find himself a hoe to play with and lose his virginity, since it was a great experience for Chris, and ever since then, he did not obsess about sex as much. The friend was appalled by the suggestion. On the final day of June, Chris stated that the final buyer of the Sonichu and Roaster drawing backed out of the deal, and so relisted the drawing on eBay for a lower asking price of $200. It was soon sold to an unknown, legitimate buyer. On July 1st, Christian offered autographed photos for $20 each on eBay. Willing buyers could choose from a selection of different photographed self-portraits. He also advertised drawing commissions on the auction site, showcasing his previous commission projects as examples of his work. He offered black and white sketches for $50, full-color drawings for $100, and full-color drawings complete with a photo frame and handwritten certificate of authenticity for $200. He received great interest for his autographed photos and drawing requests, and thanked his followers on Facebook, promising that he will devote the next few days for fulfilling everyone's requests. Less than 1 hour later, he shared a link to an amusing-looking Lego minifigure head up for sale on eBay. His drawing commissions included a photo collage featuring wrestlers, an album cover requested by the Japanese experimental noise band L'Eclipse New, and some depictions of his Sonichu characters in different scenarios, including a scene of Chris and Clyde Cash reconciling and shaking hands. A Quickie Forums member calculated that over the first 9 days and shaking hands.
Peace, okay, I'm willing to tolerate. Jeez, even when he's being paid a substantial amount of money to just try, he still looks so hesitant to do this. And also, guys, think about this. $200, $100 or whatever it is, I think is far more than I think anyone would actually ever deserve for stuff like this. Let's be real here, ladies and gentlemen. Would you spend... imagine if you just got offered... imagine if it was the end of the month and your pay came in. Imagine you could have literally like maybe possibly 3,000, 4,000, maybe even 10,000 at your disposal for your month's work. Is the first thing you would want to do is to buy this? Please let me know, ladies and gentlemen, because I would like to imagine, you know what, there are things more important than you know, stroking Chris's bloated ego. I'm just putting it out there.
A Quickie Forums member calculated that over the first 9 days of July, Christian likely made around $1,500 across all his available eBay sales. Also in early July, Christian's new OkCupid profile under the username LevelUpKing was leaked on the Quickie Forums. Not long after, he began contacting a woman named Catherine on the site, who was in fact a fabricated persona created by trolls. He kept their relationship private for the time being. On July 14th, Chris listed his father's 1990 appearance as a guest host for WTJU Radio's Jazz Marathon on eBay. He offered the audio as a 6-CD set for $50. The next day, he wrote that $10 from each sale of the CD set would be donated to WTJU Radio, and also offered a deal wherein for that week only, anyone who purchased the CD set would also get a free autographed photo or $20 off of a black and white drawing commission. He was asked on eBay if he had permission from copyright holders to sell the music, with Chris replying that he did not own the music, and felt that he shared the rights to his father's voice on the recordings. A forum member also messaged him about the reasoning for selling the recordings for $50 when Chris himself had made them available as a free download in December 2012. Chris replied, stating that downloading the content for free was internet piracy because it was stealing the content without Bob's family receiving any dues from it. A few days later, in response to possible criticism,
it would, but then why would you post them for free in the first place, Chris? That doesn't make any sense.
Chris stated that he had full permission from the radio station's general manager to proceed with the eBay listing. The official Facebook page from the radio station later clarified that when they first got a call from Chris about selling Bob's appearance on the radio show, they assumed that he was a musician who had played a live set on air. But later, they received calls about the eBay listing and learned about the true nature of Chris's intentions. They stated that what he was doing was not legal and would contact him shortly about the matter. The listing was soon removed from eBay, by which time 2 individuals had purchased CDs, who would instead receive an autographed photo and a black and white drawing respectively at no added charge, rather than a refund. Chris wrote that they would also get complimentary CDs. Also in the month of July, because of the purchase of his original Sonichu and Roaster drawing, he listed another original piece of artwork starring Sonichu, also set at $200. This was soon accompanied by one focused on Roaster. On July 17th, Chris uploaded a gameplay video of the Nintendo game Mario Kart 8, played on his Wii U, both on his Miiverse account and his YouTube channel. He would upload more Mario Kart videos sporadically over the next year. A week later, Christian wrote in a Facebook post that proceeds from his eBay sales would help greatly the dental treatment which his mother Barbara desperately needed. He then revealed the photo the customers would get if they did not select one from his options, which featured a return of his Sonichu medallion after several years of not being worn. The following day, he offered a free character drawing for every autographed photo sold until Monday, the 28th. On that day, he stated that he needed the money to buy a new ink cartridge, help pay to ship out his orders, and to make up for the money spent by Barbara impulsively purchasing entertainment center furniture from Goodwill. Meanwhile, members of the Quickie forums noted that Chris had recently spent almost $190 on a DVD set of the Japanese animated series Sailor Moon and $100 on a Lego castle construction set. On August 2nd, Chris went to Facebook to express his gratitude for a custom-made plush doll of Sonichu that he received from a fan. It reminded him of a previous plushie that he got before the house fire, which was destroyed by the flames, along with an oil painting of Sonichu and the Asperchu medallion that was sent to him by Alec Benson Leary, which saddened him. The following day, he begged for money from his friends and followers, noting that even though he made over $2,000 on eBay last month, he did not have enough money to send out all the purchases to his buyers because that money was spent on bills, printer ink cartridges, shipping, some Lego, and food for his family.
You know, food for his family, he says, and... Well, granted he has like a few animals here and there, but you just like buy dog food and that, and... Dog food isn't technically really that expensive. Like I bought food for my dog a few times, and it's not that bad. I suppose. Like, how much Lego is Chris actually buying, and what about food for him? Yeah, does he really need? I would like to really know how much he was actually spending. About why he couldn't send out all of these items. I want to know the real reason for all these, because I reckon if Chris was in any way remotely serious about his business, he would have been able to have found a way easy to do this.
In addition, he wanted to raise enough money to fix his mother's teeth. In response to allegations of improper Lego purchases, on August 5th, Christian notified on Facebook that he had mostly purchased Legos to replace all the sets that were destroyed by the fire, and to contribute to a future business scheme of creating custom minifigures stylized to look like Sonichu characters. 2 days later, Chris wrote a lengthy post targeting his trolls. Attention everyone! I'm long devastated and exhausted of all the hate I've been receiving from the people who are not only labeled bad, trolls, and bullies, but absolutely none of you all know anything better than what impulsively comes into your aging and decreasing brains. All of you impulsively choose those you consider to be weak, stupid, even misusing the word gay to define something or someone as stupid, or even somewhat remotely better than yourselves, just so you can downsize their self-confidence and ego, when you have absolutely no self-confidence or ego in yourselves.
I wouldn't know. Some people think it's considered relatively brave to mock other people for being different, so not always, and...
You all are misaiming your anger and impulsive hatred to someone who is not...
This is also, I'm going to do something very, very interesting as well, guys. Bear with me for a few moments, guys. That's, I'll get to the point, guys. Don't worry. Let's see if I can find it. Where's part 36? Okay. You know, he talks about hate, but, remember when he did this?
He's not a tom girl at all. He's just a full-blown gay. Everybody who is a homophobe, go ahead and call him on it. Call Ahuvia a goddamn homo. Homo. I'm a homo. You can't get her. Blah 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 blah. Yeah. I want Mr. Ahuvia to make the public apologies for all the things he has done against me. Shoot, I forgot to run him down. but he knows what he did. Among which he has pestered me and on the phone and blackmailed me into doing a few things. Anyway, 25-year-old Hahuvia Omo.
Yeah, he talks about other people bringing his he talks about he talks that he's trying to act all high and mighty when he does shit like that. No, that's just you don't do that, because if you do, you're gonna get caught out on it like that. This is not particularly difficult to foresee.
Even remotely related to you, or even remotely involved in your own lives. All of you are not angry at me. All of you are not angry at Britney Spears, Pamela Anderson, Katy Perry, or any female superstar. All of you are not angry at Jerry Seinfeld, Tim Allen, Jay Leno, or any male superstar. All of you are not angry at anyone else similar or different or whatever. All of you are truly angry at the misfortunes in your own individual lives. All of you are truly angry at the actual local people around you who have shunned you or labeled you wrongfully, so that you'll end up throwing those same labels upon innocent people who do not deserve that kind of emotional devastation at all. And the people who wrongfully labeled you all individually have had those same labels directly, wrongfully bestowed onto them, or otherwise indirectly learned from someone else who was wrongfully labeled as well. All of you are wrong to throw your own hatred of those around you who more appropriately deserve it onto any other person who does not deserve it to begin with. Wars get started because those people and all of you do not have any better ideas. All of them and you solely take the immediate impulse that falls in a second to hurt someone else in an unrequited attack on that individual or someone else who did not deserve it to begin with. Every individual in this world is not perfect. Every individual in this world has some sort of mental defect or physical problem or emotional devastation, albeit minuscule or more grand than the size of the universe. There is no real strong person because those strong people are all weak as well in some area. And the higher force above us is always messing with each of our individual minds every day. Rather each of you call him God, Emmanuel, Zeus, Buddha, or even the individual destiny of your own. I'm not an atheist because I sincerely believe in the higher force of above us. Even Jesus may be the higher force's son, but every religion will have you believing in the one same higher force. Right or wrong, it is truly set up to each individual perception of every individual soul among us the billions of people on this big blue marble among marbles in the universe. If all of you bullies really want to be angry at someone, do not pester or torture the innocent people who did not deserve it to begin with. Go take it.
But you're not innocent though, Chris. I've explained this before. Chris was innocent until he decided to start talking back to these trolls. He was innocent before he decided to make his let's call it his very anti-black stances on dating black women properly known. He was innocent at a point in his life. So you might even say he even lost his virginity at a much younger age. Unfortunately, the way he lost it and the way that the world sees him, he talks so much about being misunderstood and saying that we're not really angry at him. Well, again, I'm not going to go over everything, but I think it's pretty obvious from where I sit is that Chris is 100% one of those people. And it's been a very long time since I've actually had the privilege to say this. Chris is one of those persons who thinks that he will always be right in some way, even when he knows he is 100% in the wrong. Now let's continue. We've still got like nearly 22 minutes to go. This is going to take forever.
It up with the higher force, which had tweaked that individual person or situation upon yourself in your own prayers. It may or may not listen, but at least you can speak it out of your system in private rants and shouts in your own domicile, residence, or hole in the ground.
Also, this is the same guy who posted a dating resume on Facebook, saying that he would not date black women, saying that he would rather have a slim woman than a fat woman, and also one who is an expert in sex. On the very same day, his 84-year-old father died in hospital. Just to give you an idea.
And then nobody else on this planet would have to take any unrequited abuse or feel more devastated or hurt than they each already are in their own way. Why is someone else's life indirect to your own immediately any important enough that they need to be tortured? Let them all just be. Let us all live. Sigh. Kim
Even in his Facebook post, he has to put in sigh, just so we know that he's doing it.
Wilson left a comment, refuting his claims that bullies only attack others because they hate themselves, designating the concept as an 80s and 90s television cliché. She stated that people who criticize others are often very successful and happy in their personal lives, and that he should keep in mind that all criticism is valuable, regardless of its origin. On that same day, Chris posted a new original drawing up for sale on eBay, a depiction of Sonichu and Rosechu's wedding. On August 14th, in addition to more necessary money and eBay orders, Christian asked if anyone could provide him with a special trading card from a My Little Pony themed trading card game, which was valued on eBay at $100.
Remember, guys, this is the same man who said he is desperate for money, who said he couldn't, send out shipping orders to make in money, and now he's begging on Facebook for money. All this time, he's begging for a $100 piece of card. I fucking hate this man.
He later posted 2 images on Facebook in support of human equal rights for all people of all genders and orientations.
I'm gonna pause this again for 1 second because I'm just gonna re-emphasize this. Does this sound like the sort of person who, who's all for equality?
Calling him a tom girl, but you know what? He's not a tom girl at all. He's just a full-blown gay. Everybody who is a homophobe, go ahead and call him on it. Call Ahuvia a goddamn homo. Homo. I'm a homo. You can't get her, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. I want Mr. Ahuvia to make the public apologies for all the things he has done against me. Shoot, I forgot to write him down. But he knows what he did. Among which he has pestered me and on the phone and blackmailed me into doing a few things. Anyway, 25-year-old Ahuvia, homo.
Remember, guys, this is now he's saying he is fully supporting human equal rights for everyone. Except he doesn't acknowledge the right to be in a relationship with black women. Well, all I could say to that is I don't particularly think black women, any woman, whatever their race, orientation, would want anything to do with Chris. So go figure.
And also came out as a tomgirl, intersects a female soul with male body, and a tranny crossdresser. He also changed his profile picture to one with an embedded icon showing support for the pro-LGBT human rights campaign. He left a reply in the comment section, clarifying that he identified himself as a lesbian-identified male and encouraged others to search the term on the internet. He also wrote that he fully supported the LGBT community and begrudgingly accepted the gay males. He further wrote that his mother still not approved of him wearing female clothing and short skirts as of late, wishing for her to embrace his tendencies to flirt the skirt. Kristen added a comment to clarify his stance towards all the various genders. I just sorted it out, how to best nutshell the details. I hardly get along with males at all, not counting being civil. I get along better with females, totally! I hardly identify myself with the barbarian and stereotypical males at all.
You know, you mean the stereotypes you've you've placed on other men. Chris, I don't know how best I'm gonna try and tell you this, Chris, but I'm gonna do this in the best way I can. Not all men are what you might think they are. And that's all I've got to say on that, because I don't particularly think you could put in any other terms than that. Prove me wrong, guys. I beg someone to prove me wrong.
Identify best with the feminine ways, emotions, empathy, and about everything else. I get.
How about empathy and everything else? So, feminine ways. So, according to Chris, feminine ways, from what he can say up front, are emotions, empathy, and let's just exclude about everything else, because he can't freaking come up with anything. So emotions and empathy, those are apparently feminine ways. I literally cannot believe this. I cannot believe what I'm hearing. I've been sitting here for nearly a whole hour now, and we're not even 30 minutes into this. And I cannot but... And what's this bullshit coming up? I get disgusted with the damn dicks, including my own. I want to shove my face into the big hole below the urethra known as the beautiful vagina very much. First of all, I thought Chris said he wasn't fascinated by sex very much anymore. So we can assume at least one of these things is a lie. Not that I really want to know Chris. Oh, let's not think about that. Second, let's actually go a little bit further. I get along better with females totally. I hardly identify with the barbarian and stereotypical males at all. Can you tell us anything about masculine ways then, Chris? You seem very quick to, criticize stereotypical males and that, but but you've just did the exact same. You put these as stereotypes of, things that, of feminine ways. And I don't even like the term feminine ways either. I think that's... Feminine ways is a ridiculous thing to say as well when you think about it. Because realistically, what counts as a feminine way? What is that? What does having a vagina count as a feminine thing? Does having a higher pitched voice, is that a feminine thing? What is it? What is it? You see, exactly. What I like to do, and this is something I've always loved to do when I'm talking about Chris Chan, is that you approach things not so much from a philosophical point of view, but purely from a logical standpoint, and you could see Chris's holes like potholes from miles away. They're that big, and if I can see them, I reckon so many others can. Because I got to tell you what, this is the type of bullshit I always know that Chris... Remember what I said in the beginning, that Chris will say some of the most bewilderingly stupid things you could possibly imagine. And this technically isn't one of the worst things I've heard Chris really say in the grand scheme of things. I mean, for the most part, the things he just writes on Facebook are pretty harmless in the grand majority of things, because technically these words can't hurt people. But what angers one a lot about people like Chris is that he makes money from selling extremely cavalier drawings. He has a very notorious history on the internet, getting into arguments, swearing, cursing, discriminative towards gay people, discriminative towards black women. He does all this, and some people are expected to feel sorry for him, because any amount of sympathy I used to I had at all for Chris disappeared right at the point where I said, up until this point, Chris was innocent. But ever since he decided to take matters into his own hands, that's it. That it was gone. And please bear in mind, ladies and gentlemen, the video is not over yet.
Get disgusted with the damn dicks, including my own. I want to shove my face into the big hole below the urethra, known as the beautiful vagina, very much.
Also, how very empathetic that he might not think that the other women in question might not want Chris's frog-like face anywhere near their urethra or their genitals, whatever. But let's just assume for one moment that there is a woman out there who has even lower self-esteem than Chris does. And, well, yeah, let's just leave it at that. But even then, I doubt there are women, even women who are who have absolutely no self-esteem or self-value or worship or worth whatsoever, no better than to be treated like this. I'm just saying, I'm putting it out there.
I'm feminine on the inside, male on the outside. My feminine soul is most attracted and aroused by women and their superior beauty. Male bodies are horrendous and most offensive to me. Talk about going from the middle to hell's deep on the beauty/ugly thermometer. Female and male on female and female equals lesbian identified man. No more questions. Christian then revealed his new identity as a lesbian identified man and a cross-dressing transsexual in a post on his Braziers for Males Facebook page, pleading for all males to wear sports bras and skirts if they wish to do so. He closed his post by stating his intentions to take part in a pride parade if there was one in his area. On August 15th, since Chris was interested in going on a date with Catherine in Fashion Square, he wrote a 2-page letter addressed to the manager of the mall from which he had been banned. He apologized for his loud outbursting misconduct/misbehavior, which was instigated by internet trolls. He wrote that he had matured emotionally and mentally since his ban and was in a serious relationship with a woman whom he deeply loved, a feeling which should not be mistaken for the act of intercourse. He thusly wanted to get readmitted into the mall so that they could shop there together. In addition, he wrote a similar letter of apology to get unbanned from the Walmarts in Charlottesville and Ruckersville, relaying the exact same sentiment about his relationship and wish to go shopping together. Finally, he wrote a 4-page letter of apology addressed to Mary Lee Walsh of Piedmont, Virginia Community College, apologizing for depicting her in his comics as an evil witch. Chris then reminded her of his attraction sign, which he forbade, and said,
More like, apologize for your frankly appalling grammar. That's another thing that really pisses me off about Chris, is that his grammar is just shocking. I'm not expecting, so like a genius here, but these are mistakes that are very identifiable and something that. Okay, I'm ranting too much here, but you get the idea.
Said that had she not have made it obvious to him that true love was illegal in the state of Virginia, he would have never drawn her as a witch character, which resulted in increased attention for her from the trolls. He requested that he be unbanned from the campus so he could have the liberty to attend on-campus events and attend classes for the sake of his present and future family. On August 16th, Chris wrote an extended post on Facebook, apparently confessing that he would not let himself be bothered by trolls' actions anymore.
Yeah, he said that before 4 years ago, and that did not age well.
Because only his true friends knew of his genuine caring nature and respected him being a lesbian and a tranny. I no longer am going to care so easily for the opinions of the lot of you. I used to care, and that has hurt me mentally and emotionally very harshly, but not anymore. You all can just go ahead and call me gay, meaning stupid, dumb, or homo, because I am homo for women, and none of any of you are going to ever change who I am there. Go ahead and give out my phone number, email, and all that shit, because I will never respond to any of you haters as hazers. My closest friends and allies mean a heart and soul full to me than any of you strangers, because I've never even been remotely familiar with any of you before 2007, and very likely I never will have the displeasure of even making your acquaintance in person ever. And this is the last time I will ever say anything in response to your shitful and hurtful comments and hatred for hate's sake. So there. On August 17th, Christian changed his Facebook cover photo to a picture of his Lego incarnation, holding the hand of a female Lego minifigure, representing Catherine, who was wearing a miniature paper replica of his Sonichu medallion, which sparked discussion on the Quickie forums over the existence of a possible new sweetheart. 1 week later, he posted a so-called poll on Facebook, intended to be answered only by internet trolls. He asked them if they not liked the rage face comic genre of internet memes, especially the often featured troll face, and if the trolls answered yes, they were to click the like button on his post. On August 25th, he announced that Sonichu disliked pickles in his comics because he was severely allergic to them, writing that eating a whole pickle would paralyze Sonichu. Chris then stated that Sonichu and most of his other characters were heterosexual, apart from Robbie Sonichu, who was a total lesbian tomgirl tranny crossdresser, lesbian tomgirl Sarah Rosechew, and bisexual Crystalline Rosechew. On the final day of the month, Christian went on a date with Catherine while wearing the perfume Fantasy by Britney Spears. She was accompanied by a troll playing the part of her cousin Al, who drove her to meet Chris at the predetermined date location, the restaurant Applebee's. The audio of their entire conversation was covertly recorded.
I need to go like brush my teeth for a second here, but we're almost at the end, so I'll be back very shortly, guys. And now we're back. And also, I just want to say right now, even though I know this is a troll-influenced scheme from what they told us, it still strikes fear into me that he would even get close to this amount of attention anyway. Whatever. Let's see what this goes, and let's see if we can try and wrap this up in less than 40 minutes.
Catherine! Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that.
This is my cousin Al.
Yeah, Katie, her car was in the garage, so I gave her a ride. So, yeah.
It's nice to finally meet you.
You're here.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm so glad.
I'm glad to meet you as well. I like your earrings. They're very pretty.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I like your earrings too.
Oh, thank you. How have you been?
I've been doing very well. Thank you. This is for you.
Is this what? Oh my goodness, this is amazing. What? He's made me a mix CD.
And there's the story that goes with it. Plus to print out about the details of your birth date. And the 2 drawings I drew for you so far.
So amazing. Nobody's ever done anything like this for me before. Actually, put it in my purse. Doesn't get hurt in the table.
Well, I think this date's going pretty good so far.
Yeah.
I should hope so.
After discussing Chris's family, they move on to the topic of his gender identity.
I see you wore your Tom Girl best today.
My best, yes. Kilt. Or at least kilt pattern. It was the only thing I could find at the Goodwill there. That fit me. I think there was another one, but I think it was like smaller.
Chris, I'm not trying to be offensive or no, but what's this whole tomgirl thing? I don't
It's
understand.
essentially where I'm, it's like tomboy where women are interested in boyish things and high activity. I'm into more feminine things.
So you're like a cross-dresser then? Or?
Yes, you can call me a tranny. I accepted that term. I'm a lesbian, tomgirl, transgender male. So I'm 3/4 woman.
Okay.
The only difference is the body.
Yeah. They certainly have a unique fashion sense, I'll say that. So.
It's fairly unique, that's what.
Yeah.
Fairly unique, but I'm sure I could be shaped up a little more sophisticated or whatever.
Yep.
There's always room for improvement for everybody, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Catherine later revealed Chris's demeanor during the date. He kept trying to hold my hand, so I negotiated lunch like a T-Rex with strumpy little arms. Then he tried footsie under the table, and he stared at my tits a lot. I kept hoping Cousin Al would say something, but he never did. In retrospect, I should have called him out on it.
So what?
Yeah, you know what? If anybody out there is wondering whether or not Chris's people skills since his date with Emily nearly 5 years ago has improved or deteriorated, and whether or not Chris actually learned anything in those years, well, there's your answer.
What are your goals, plans, whatever? You guys gonna get married or what?
Well, we might.
Might do one day. It's going pretty well so far.
Yeah, I think it would probably be together more often, I hope.
Yeah, I mean, well, you were talking about wanting to get married too. So
Yes.
you said you wanted to be in the next 5 years or so.
Yeah, within the next 5 years. I mean, but that's up to you, though. When you feel ready to get married, I'll be there by your side at the chapel.
I should hope so.
Me too. And I'm still in full support of who you are as well. Remember?
Yeah, the
Open relationship.
Imagine how embarrassing it would be if Catherine, whoever she is in real life, was getting married to somebody else and Chris was just there at the altar. Just, yeah. Especially if he pulled a face like that.
So you got open relationship?
I'll fully support her. You know her as a bi. I'm sure.
So you're okay with her being with other women?
Yeah. I had other ideas in my
Does that
head.
include other men too?
Well, optionally for her, but for me, I would definitely, if I felt up to it, it would be with another woman, definitely.
Yep. Again, Chris's sexism also never fails to amaze me and also disgust me, and that goes similar as well for people who are in open relationships. I mean, would you really be happy if you saw your missus getting banged by somebody else? What if she was having sex with another man and she then caught a sexually transmitted disease and you could be sleeping with her that night? Would you be that happy about this? Or what happens if she got pregnant and the baby might not even be yours? I mention these things because it never seems to occur to people like Chris who say this shit because he's a pervert and he's learned absolutely nothing about the way he's presenting himself, the way he looks in the eyes of others, and this trend set has been going on for years. And you can't say that's his autism because, you know what? Autism does not deteriorate or discourage people from, actually learning from where they went wrong or it doesn't stop you from using your brain. Neurological the conditioning or otherwise, it does not stop you from losing your brain. Using it. And also, Chris isn't even that severe a case of autism as he likes to portray himself. There's plenty of things he could take control of if he actually put a little bit more effort into his life.
But she expressed her interest in other women as well. I mean, I don't want to go too much into that. It sounds a little bit embarrassing. Just
Chris, you love her, right?
Yes, I do. I care about her.
So why would you be okay with her having sex with other men?
Well,
I mean, that's a fair question.
It's a fair question, yes. It's more like if I can't satisfy her, if she feels lack of satisfaction, I made very clear for her that our relationship.
Well, yes, obviously, because Chris's bent penis is so extraordinarily repulsive to even think about at all that it would be it's a bit like having sex with a kitchen tap. That's what Chris's penis basically it looks like. It's like I don't know if you're supposed to like turn a hand or something and water comes out or something. And also in the last video anyway, which I made a very long time ago, Chris expressed that he managed to somehow go around parading he was a girl by stretching his penis and sticking the head into his butt crack, aka there could be some remnants of shit on the end of his penis that he could be sticking into whatever. None of this is going to help Chris at all in the long run, but it's amazing that not even Chris seems to be aware that this might be an issue.
Will be honest and loyal to each other. So as long as she lets me know that if she feels like she needs to see somebody else, then that's fine. I'll let her go. And
so sort of like an open marriage thing where each of you can see other people.
Well, we're not going to marry other people.
Oh no,
Just like see other people.
Yeah, just like see other people. It's like to take a break from each other as well. Because I've learned from a lot of television about where marriages end up.
Yeah, television. I'm only guessing he turned to television because he saw his Bob and Bob's marriage for what it was. And there's not much need to say more. Also, let's also not forget the fact that Chris's ideas of his daughter Crystal have pretty much dead and buried at this point, because what child would want to imagine being Chris's child and then hearing about all this shit that he did?
Up bad because one cheats on the other. Yeah, but this way it's an open relationship, so we're being honest with each other, and I come to terms with that being part of a healthier relationship. I mean, even modernly, sometimes the married couples will sleep in separate rooms if they felt need to.
Sleep in separate rooms, like after a fight or something, maybe?
No, essentially, yeah, they get married and they decide it's like one doesn't feel comfortable sleeping right next to the other, so they end up with separate rooms, but they still love each other and care each other. In fact, it gives them more room to breathe.
So have you had relationships like that then, where you've been kept distance?
Well, I haven't had too many relationships really, but yeah, there was one where one girl definitely wanted me to keep my distance from her. She thought I was getting too close to her. That's why I learned how to keep my hands to myself for a while.
Yeah. I suppose you feel very strongly about respecting other people's boundaries.
Oh yes, I do.
After a while, the three move on to discussing the house fire.
So, Chris, you're saying that your house fire got started by some appliance at the Keurig?
Yeah, the Keurig coffee bill was plugged into the extension cord, plugged into the bathroom wall, and the fire happened at the arch where it was over the door frame, over the door.
Oh, I was going to say, if it was the coffee maker, I would have sued the hell out of those bastards.
Yeah, but I thought we thought for a while that's why it was too, the coffee brewer, but unfortunately, it turned out to be an extension cord after the fire inspector confirmed that.
But why was it that the coffee maker was plugged in by extension cord to the electrical?
We didn't have one that was closer. The closest one there was behind a really big dresser, and the house was cluttered. I had lots of stuff, and my mom, being as impulsive as she was at Goodwill sometimes, that didn't help much either. But that was like God telling us, "Hey, Barbara, I'll make it easier for you. There you go, fire, get out of the house." Yeah, because she was concerned about all that clutter as well, didn't know where to put it.
I guess is that how she's coping?
So your mother thinks that God was telling her to move out of the house, so God burnt it down? Is that what she believes?
That's one idea she has.
Food's great.
Yeah.
It sounds good?
Yes.
Just nibbling.
Yeah, me too. Just nibbling.
Are you nervous?
A little bit. I'm a bit of a soda drinker. Drink a lot of soda throughout my life, so I end up with a shaky leg also. Yeah. That's one thing my mother complains about, and that shakes the house also.
Yeah, and it's that I don't think that's because of you shaking your leg, Chris. I think that's the diabetes desperately wanting to get out of your body. Possibly. I don't know.
Your shaky leg shakes the whole house.
Well, when I'm standing, not as much when I'm sitting down. Here.
So you just like, your leg fidgets a little bit, shakes like that?
Yeah.
That's actually, people who fidget like that, they burn more calories.
Well, now I feel weird because I don't know.
Well, don't worry about it. Maybe live with me long enough, you'll pick up on the habit. Just kidding.
I don't know about living together. Like I said, my dad's really emotional.
Yeah.
Well, that's another thing, another obstacle to relationships. Sometimes you travel a lot, so if it's long distance and you can't see each other, that's a challenge. So
it takes effort. It takes a lot of effort.
And I am willing to put in the effort.
Well, I live in Culpeper, so it's not that far away.
It's not that far away. Plus, you can always move in with me and my mom when you felt comfortable. And then we'll find you a library here and I'll hire you.
Yep.
Christian then revealed to
Wait, hang on. We'll find you a library that how are you? I'm wrapping it up. That's how empathetic that the one job Chris thinks Catherine can actually get is working in a library. I'm wrapping this up. Let's just finish this. We're nearly done.
Catherine and Dal his various experiences with internet trolls and elaborated on his troubles concerning the gameplays.
Yeah, this was October 2011. Michael Snyder, the Game and Hobby Place, had been banned from there because Michael Hay McGuss, April 2008, and he was definitely a total asshole.
How was he an asshole to you?
He was just very mean, uncaring. He wouldn't even give consideration when I went in one time before that just asking him, is it okay? Everything's passed, everything. And he's like, no. And he wanted to call the police on evidence, so I left. Yeah, I was like, well, I had an audio recording, and it got up, and I uploaded it for the reason I had at the time.
Wait a second. Why would you record it, and then why would you upload it? What did you upload it to?
It was because, so I could prove that Michael was as mean as he was. If he had not been mean, I would not have uploaded it at all. But I mean, it was an audio recording. I had a digital camera in my pocket, and it recorded the audio.
And when was this?
Yeah, this was like, I think 2009 or 10.
Okay, so it was a few years ago.
Yeah.
And then you said you got arrested in 2011?
Yeah, because it was a trap essentially. My mother and I, we were in that part of town, and we saw a sign in the store window that said under new management. So I figured Michael was gone, right? No, he was the new manager of the place now, and he had the police on call ready right there. Had the people at the Staples store to be like witnesses and everything. And Mom and I, we tried to make our escape, but they wouldn't. But nobody would let us. And then, like, Snyder paid the police to beat the crap out of them and arrest them, something like that.
He bribed the cops?
Yeah.
Why would he do that? Why would he hate you so much?
Like, how did you find out that he bribed the cops? Like, did somebody tell you?
Yeah, well, pretty much my mom figured it out essentially. And, it's like too common sense to put two and two together. And he figured.
Oh yeah, I managed to do that. Also, for the fact that Chris called on two separate occasions, he called Michael Snyder a Jew. The first, he just shouted Jew as a derogative insult. The second is that he called him a child molesting Jew. Yeah, Chris has never been really one to count, but he is pretty good in terms of neglecting his own hypocrisy, as I've stated before.
That he would profit from me and my mother. He thought we were rich, but we were not so rich. We ended up losing a lot of money we had that Mr. C, my father, had left us, and paying the court lawyer fees.
So what were you charged with then? I mean, it sounds like you didn't really do anything.
Yeah, we were charged with trespassing.
You said you tried to make an escape. Did you run from the cops?
A bit, yeah.
Yeah, apparently, yeah. Good luck trying to convince yourself that Chris was in the wrong at all during. Well, Chris was in the right.
Wow. Yeah, they were trying to block our path out, but we made it happen. Then they cornered us at the nearby court building in the back parking lot behind the building.
Chris, I've had to deal with cops myself, and I got to say, you never look forward to dealing with the cops, but they're still the police. You got to treat them with respect, even if they're, even if you don't like them, you still have to deal. Even if you don't agree with what they're dealing, you still have to show respect. It's just important to do.
Yeah, that's still the process I'm trying to get to, pull the giving, pulling the good from the bad from, and I'm still seeing bad in a lot of them because with the bribery and everything, they can be corrupted. Because you don't know what's going on in their heads. And Snyder, he pretended to be like hit by our van, but he did not. But the van was stood still. He like hit the bumper and faked falls twice.
So the van was not moving. It was he walked up to the van and then like fell back.
Well, he stood there like the general who Stonewall Jackson.
The Confederate general.
Yeah, like stood there like Stonewall Jackson.
He continued to talk about his various experiences with the trolls.
I've actually met a few of them in person, once or twice.
How did that happen?
Well, one of them was kind of like a setup where I thought I was going to make a new girlfriend there. My father went with me that one time, but it turns out there was a camera recording and they're hiding from somewhere else, recording everything that was going on that conversation.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah, and then this other guy came in dressed in a pickle costume.
A pickle costume?
Why would he be dressed in a pickle
I'm sorry, I'm not
costume?
laughing at you. That's just so absurd.
Yeah, I know it is
Why a
absurd.
pickle costume?
Because early in the Science Shoe comics, I drew Science Shoe eating lunch with Rose Shoe. He was eating a sandwich. He had pickles on it. He was like, I hate pickles. Yeah, because I don't like pickles either.
Oh, okay.
What time is it? We've got to go back to the mechanics before they close.
What time?
It's 10 after 3.
It's 10 after 3, yeah, they close at 4:30.
Okay, well we'll wrap it up here in a few minutes. So
Because they've got my car. I've got to find out what's wrong with it.
Where was the where's the garage then?
I'm not sure if it's
we don't know the. You don't know the street address? No, we don't. We don't have the street
it's in your
address.
GPS. I'm not
Yeah.
sure if it's in the
Okay, well, I'll follow y'all.
It's a pretty long way to the mechanics.
Yeah,
So
it's near my place. He's going to drop me off, and then he's got to go back home for work. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And I'll see if I can make the Pride Parade for you. That's 2 weeks.
That's on the 13th.
Yeah, so it's 2 weeks from now. I'll try and see if I can make sure, but like I said, I'm back walking dogs and...
well, you can always talk with Katie over Skype, right?
Christian suggested that they could visit his house in Ruckersville, which was still being renovated and repaired. Catherine and Al took him up on his offer.
Bit of an abrupt end there, but it is what it is. So, ladies and gentlemen, first video back in a little over 4 months. Oh boy. Oh boy. Like, most of this video was just dedicated to Chris's shenanigans on eBay and making life literally harder than it needed to be. Like, I heard people say that there were so many ways in which Chris could just, like that, get out of really difficult situations in a heartbeat. But this really was taking the piss. I could have worked out without any real effort at all about how to fix these issues, or at least read the print before you jump into doing anything else. That is one of the things you could do. Another thing you could do, purely optional, is to just be careful with what you say, or make sure you understand perfectly well what are the consequences of what you ever say, good or bad. Because just again, some of the shit, and I've been like looking through Chris's antics for nearly a year and a half now. I am still, I still cannot believe that this is just, wow. Actually, you know what? So, for the first time since like part 19, I'm actually going to sort of like conclude part 40 with the music playing in the background. So let's make this quite fitting, shall we? Chris's insistence on promoting his self-titled fame in terms of working off his infamous reputation on the internet, Chris suddenly decided that he was actually falling into a new pattern of life, one where he could exhibit new gal pals, new opportunities, new roles to play, despite the fact that he was a child living out his fantasies in a world that did not share his views.